Hi, Mark here. I just had to record this video because I just can't believe what I just witnessed. I just created a WordPress plugin using ChatGPT 4.01 in less than 5 minutes. It's amazing. I've never created a WordPress plugin before, and literally a few commands and I had it all functioning and working. Let me show you. So this is the challenge I decided to set ChatGPT 4.01. So the other day I was working in my automation platform, which is make.com. So I use this platform to automate like marketing and business processes. And one of the automations that I wanted to create was to watch for blog posts being published on a blog so that I could go ahead and create the social media for them. And there is a module within the automation platform, which is make.com, which allows you to do that out of the box. But it just wasn't working very well. It just wasn't reliable and wouldn't fire every time a blog post was published. So I started looking for alternative options, and I came across a plugin here which allows you to automate some aspects of that. So I was able to install this plugin, and when I publish the blog, be able to send the data to make.com via a webhook. So essentially I create a webhook in make.com, and essentially I can send the data from WordPress to that webhook. That might all sound like technical details, but essentially all I'm doing is saying, this is the blog post that was published, here it is, make, go and do your work. So then I can go ahead and create work. Once I've got it into make.com, I can do whatever I want. So I thought, well, I'll ask ChatGPT 4.01 if I can create a plugin to do just that. So here I am. I'll close this one down. So I was in ChatGPT 4.01 mini. So mini is there's two versions of 01, the 01 preview and 01 mini. This is the advanced reasoning. 01 mini is 80% cheaper, but it's also kind of optimized for coding. So if you're doing code, then you can use 01 mini and it's absolutely fine, as we'll see. As I say, I've never created a WordPress plugin before. I have done some development in the past, but under Microsoft technologies, not in WordPress at all. And it's been 15 years since I have, so I don't consider myself a developer at all. But let me show you just how easy and how quick this was. So this is the prompt I used for 01 mini. Create a WordPress plugin that allows you to simply, I didn't even use proper language. So create a WordPress plugin that allows you to send the blog post ID to a webhook when its state changes, e.g. to published or draft. The UI should allow you to specify the webhooks you want to send data to and allow you to create multiple webhook triggers. ChatGPT 01 mini thought for a few seconds and then started to spit this out. So this is the code that he gave me. Essentially what I had to do was copy this this code into a file and upload it to my web server. That was it. And when I did that, I went into plugins here and I had this plugin here, post state webhook, which was deactivated, a little bit like Hello Dolly is here. So I just had to activate it. So I clicked activate, and then I could go into settings, and there's this setting here, post state webhook. So I clicked on that, went into here, and this is not the most beautiful UI you've ever seen in the world, but it's functional. So I pasted the webhook in here. So I create a webhook in make.com. So this is where I want the address that I want the data sent to. So I copied that address, I pasted it into the webhook URL there, and then I could say I want this to send data to this webhook when it's published, when the post is published, when it's draft, pending, future, private, trash. Set all of the standard kind of triggers there, all the standard states for a WordPress post. I did that, I clicked save changes, and then nothing seemed to get sent to the webhook. I was so excited at that point. I thought, oh my God, if this works, this is incredible. I've never created a WordPress plugin before. As a non-developer, you could just do this just as simply as I have there, and it's going to work. I'm blown away. And then when it didn't work, it didn't send any data, nothing happened. My webhook just sat here spinning, waiting for something to happen, and just nothing happened. And I thought, oh yeah, here we go. Like, it's not as good as it's kind of made out to be. It just doesn't, particularly work. So, didn't give up though in 01 mini, but I was like then starting to feel a bit skeptical. But did I really expect it to work first time? I didn't, until it gave me all that code and the plugin was working, and I thought, well, maybe it's going to work. So essentially I said, thanks, the plugin installs and the UI functionality works as expected. However, the webhook does not receive any data when post changes state, e.g. from draft to published. The plugin does not seem to send anything, but it's hard to debug. Please can you review the code and try again? So they said, I'm sorry, it's hard to debug. Essentially, let me add in some debugging capabilities and I'll make a few changes. And there was one particular change, which was this one. So I did notice this in the first set of instructions. It said, I've set this SSL verify parameter to false for a testing environment or for a development environment, but you'll want to set this to true for a production environment. Now, I didn't know, I wasn't sure, being a developer of WordPress plugins, whether this was supposed to be true or false, and whether it would work even if it was false, because it's saying it should be in a production environment. So let me just show you exactly like what it said, if I can find it. So it said, change the SSL verify parameter to true for security in a production environment. So it says for security. Did that mean I had to do it? I wasn't exactly clear. So I left it as it was the first time round. The second time round, it went ahead and made it true. So that was one thing that might have actually just resolved it. But I took this new code, I overwrote the old code, I ran it again, and it still didn't do anything. It still didn't seem to work, which maybe would suggest maybe that flag I don't need to set, the SSL verify. Maybe I do. It's just hard to tell at this point. But essentially, it told me where the logging file was. So it created this log. So all I did was go into the log and find that there was an error in the log when it was changing state. So it said, this is the error that appears in the log. So now I wrote back to ChatGPT 01 Mini. This is the error that appears in the log. Please provide instructions on how to resolve. And this was the error. Received unexpected response from the hook. Response code 400, response body, access denied from this IP. Which is strange because there is no IP restrictions by default in make.com. You can add IPs you want to block or restrict, but by default there isn't any. So it's strange to get that message. So ChatGPT 4 made a few suggestions about how I could resolve that. One of the first ones, was just delete the webhook and try again. And just create it again and then update the plugin. So I went ahead and did that, and I couldn't believe it. In just those 3 instructions, there's the instructions to how to do it. But I literally just went in and then deleted this webhook, created a new webhook, pasted the URL, the new URL into here, click Save Changes again, and I could not believe that it just worked. I'm going to add a new post here just to show you like it working. So test for YouTube video, let's call it that. Put some testing stuff in here. So when I click Save Draft here, because I've set it to not fire if it's a draft, we should expect nothing to happen here on the webhook. So if that's, just check that's saved. So that's saved. The webhook hasn't fired. If I now go ahead and publish this and go back to the webhook, there it is. Ta-da! Test for YouTube video. So now I can just go ahead and do anything I want now that I'm in make.com with this information. I can go ahead and create my social media posts using AI, for example, which is what the use case I was using it for the other day, and I'll be publishing a video about how I did that like very shortly. But that's it. That's how I created a WordPress plugin in like less than 10 minutes, because I didn't even really read through all those instructions. I just copied the code and like reviewed the instructions. It was just unreal, and I'm still in shock about how easy that was, and I'm just thinking about all the possibilities for different WordPress plugins I could create and all sorts of other things that then can help like automate different marketing processes and different business processes. So that's the end of the video. Short and sweet, but I was just so excited and I just wanted to share in the moment like what I had managed to achieve and just how easy it was. I mean, I think the UI could be made better, right? It could be more beautiful, but I mean it still works as you hope. If I put this in here and just put in something else and then say here's the other triggers, I click save, and these are webhooks that are in here, but I guess I could have a name for the webhook so it's more easily readable. I could just have the layout just a little bit nicer and the UI a little bit nicer, but with a few iterations asking ChatGPT 4 to change it wouldn't take too long to do that. So that's the end of the video. I'm going to be quiet now. I hope you enjoyed that, short and sweet. Subscribe to the channel and check out my other videos coming out. I've got lots of AI automation style videos coming out. I've already recorded a bunch, so they're queued up. I'm just going to start publishing them like really soon. So subscribe to the channel and I'll enjoy sharing those with you. Thank you. Bye-bye.